5 masculine skills that turn a woman on instantly. We're going to dive into this conversation today. To be candid with you, while this is titled for men, this is a life hack that men and women can equally use. But I'm speaking to the guys right now because I know many of you would like to be in a romantic relationship. You'd like to have possibly a life partner. You'd like to have maybe a companion in your life. And I know how frustrating it is in the dating marketplace, particularly nowadays with that we meet through our devices, and it's much harder to create deeper connection. But what I want to share with you, it's not impossible, even though it feels like a broken clock in the sense that it only happens maybe twice a day for the population. I'm being a little tongue in cheek with that. So these skills are something that I'm inviting you all to start looking inward and saying, how can I improve as a person going forward in the dating marketplace instead of needing someone to love you so you can feel good about yourself? Sadly, men and women alike operate from this place because many of us have not done the personal development, self-help, and spiritual work or therapy to actually work on our relationship skills and our emotional maturity. So I'm just going to offer up 5 things. But before I do, I just want to say to every guy watching this or any woman watching this, I want to invite you all to read a fantastic book called The Hoffman Process. The Hoffman Process. This is a deep dive into healing your childhood wounds and your adult traumas that cause much of the grief in your life. And when you read this book, these 5 skills I'm about to share with you probably will be a lot easier to navigate. And by the way, there's a link below to get a copy of all the books I recommend. And I'm going to recommend one other book for you guys. This is a spiritual book. It's called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Here's the instructions. Only read 1 chapter at any sitting, no more than 1 chapter a day. It'll take you 19 days to finish. 15 minutes a day. But here's what's going to happen to you. You'll begin to learn to talk to the voices in your head. We all have voices in our head that can mess with us. And I just invite you to read these 2 books, okay? Invest a couple months of your life doing this inner work, which will better prepare you to be in relationship with another human being. And again, these are not masculine or feminine skills, okay? Even though the title is kind of a clickbait. These are really good human skills that will help you possibly attract a partner that you could maybe hold hands and do this journey of life with together. So the first skill I'm inviting you all to adopt is what I call an easygoing personality. An easygoing, basically being agreeable. You know, we men have a tendency as my way or the highway. I'm right, you're wrong. And certainly if you're a man in midlife, you can oftentimes get set in your ways. But if you want to be in a healthy, happy relationship with someone, it requires being easygoing. It's about being in partnership with one another. It's about doing things from a co-creative perspective instead of I'm right, you're wrong. Now, I know a lot of the dating rhetoric out there is centered around men are the leaders of the relationship and they must climb to the highest room of the tallest tower. Well, sadly, most men aren't good at relationships. In fact, many men are winging it for those in midlife. And it's okay to accept that we don't know what we're doing. Operate from that authentic place going forward. But I invite you all to adopt an easygoing, agreeable personality. Number 2, hey, look, I wrote a book called What the Heck is Self-Love Anyway? A Journey of Personal Development, Self-Help, and Spiritual Work. Number 2 is self-love. But self-love isn't just, the word can, it's not about self-care, manicures, pedicures. It's about self-respect, self-confidence, self-worth, self-reliance. This is about doing that inner work I talked about a moment ago. And by reading those 2 books, you're going to elevate yourself in this capacity of self-love. And let me just say what really self-love is. Guys, we all have an inner 6-year-old inside of us that's hurting on some level. We have fears, we have insecurities. Self-love is nurturing that little kid inside of us that is afraid. Okay. All right. Number 3, you clearly know what you want in relationship. When you want to attract a woman in your life, if you don't clearly know what you want, It's going to make it very challenging to be in relationship with another human being if you don't have your standards. And you're welcome to adopt the standard I created for myself. And it's simply this. I'm looking for a relationship where we spend 2 or 3 or 4 days and nights a week together doing shared activities, hobbies, mutual interests, spending time with family and friends, traveling together, teamwork, building skills, both in our personal and our professional life, intimacy, both physical and emotional intimacy that leads to either moving in together or getting married. That's a standard. You know what you want, whatever it is for you, and you're welcome to borrow mine. Okay, rewind this and watch it again. That sets up your standard, because ultimately the fourth skill is boundaries and agreements. This is about honoring your standard with another person and setting clear boundaries and having agreements ahead of time. And by the way, it's not just your standards, it's all areas of your life. Esther Perel says the quality of your life is predicated by the quality of your relationships. And Brene Brown says, our boundaries are merely what's okay and what's not okay for me. So understanding what the standard you have in a relationship and then setting proper boundaries and setting agreements with one another will build the deep roots of trust, that will allow you to have a flourishing relationship. And number 5, okay, guys, I can't implore this enough on you. Romantic relationships are about passion and sex. That's what differentiate friendships, relationships versus romantic relationships. So I'm here to suggest learn how to be a good lover, because what's the point of being in a romantic relationship if sex is a part of it and you're not a good lover? Learn the skills. There are YouTube videos out there. There are tantric workshops. Learn breathing techniques. Learn foreplay techniques, because when you become a better lover, I'm going to tell you that will instantly turn on a woman. And just remember, foreplay really takes your relationship to another level. And I'm inviting you all to start taking your relationship to another level. So those 5 skills that turn a woman on, I'm going to repeat that: easygoing personality, self-love, as we just shared, doing that inner work on yourself. You clearly know what you want. You have boundaries and agreements with someone. And lastly, you've learned how to be an awesome lover. And I promise you, if you can just adopt some of this right today, it will change your life forever. All right, guys, wishing you a super duper wonderful day. Be well. Thanks. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.